What's going on, everybody? Y'all come on in here. I wanted to do this right quick before we get to our special guest at 8:30 this evening. Oh man, we got some stuff to cover. So come on in and hit that like button. I know this is a bit impromptu. How y'all doing? Hi, Javar. I haven't seen you in a minute. How you doing, honey? Tony and Kayla, what's going on? Juju, shout out to all my mods, you all. Is it Tonia? I'm sorry if I pronounced your name. Shout out to you. New faces up in here. Y'all come on in here and hit that like button. It is Tuesday, June 2nd, in the year of our Lord 2026. And for some reason, a man was unalived in Dolton in front of a cigar restaurant or something. And the police department has not filed charges to the prosecutor. Is it the incompetency? Can they not read or what? Or are they just trying to aid in a cover up? How's this going to go? I'm going to always speak candid here in the Lady Luck Club. And I don't give a shit if anybody likes it or not. If this is not your cup of tea, don't care. But I do have some background information. The role of the police and the prosecutors and, how these investigations are supposed to be conducted. Who files charges, who does what. We do have background information on that process. So hopefully you guys learn some as well. And the police need to get off their ass and stop stalling. It's that simple. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. So I'm going to start with the video. Short clip right quick. And then we got Hannibal is hungry. Shout out to Hannibal. He covered this as well today. I actually like his video. It has a nice little compilation of the coverage from the meeting. It was a town hall meeting that happened. The parents and I believe the girlfriend, maybe. I'm not quite sure. I know she said they had a kid together. They got up, the loved ones and family members got up and spoke at the town hall meeting. And then there was some back and forth with the police, sheriff, or whatever. It's like, okay, either you all are going to do what you're supposed to do, or you're going to be derelict of duty, and then people are just going to go over you and keep living. What people do not owe them is more time for them to figure out if they're going to actually do this the way they're supposed to do it. If they're going to actually do their job. This man lost his life for what? So we can't have arguments anymore without somebody being unalived in the middle of the street. And the person that did it, I'm sure there were cameras around. You mean to tell me the person that did it has not been formally charged with a whole murder? Have we lost our humanity or what? This is absolutely insane. In that town hall meeting, because I did watch some of it, not all of it, most of it. That town hall meeting was ridiculous. So we're going to cover that in Hannibal's video that he did, because he got a nice little summary recap of it. You all want to watch the whole meeting, you're going to have to Google it. We're not doing it. But I just wanted to get the highlighted parts that were pertinent to this. And yeah, the mayor, the Jason House, the trustees, yeah, you about to get an earful. Because see, here's the thing. You have people genuinely supporting you, wanting you to achieve and do well. And you mean to tell me you're not advocating for formal charges to be filed from the police to the prosecutors for a whole murder and an unaliving of a person? I don't care if you got an argument or not. It's not worth him being shot and killed over. So either do what you need to do, or everybody's gonna go over your head. Absolute madness. Absolute madness. Makes no damn sense. Now hit the like button coming in. Yeah, I'm gonna fuss a little bit. A lot. Can't make this up. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Share this out. I know it's impromptu, but let's get to this, you all. And then we got some information to go over so that people can understand why it's infuriating to know that the police that had probable cause at the very least to arrest the what's his name, Andre Rucker, we'll learn it. Could have arrested him, did an investigation, got the autopsy report, gathered evidence, and then presented charges to the prosecutor to be filed to the court for a whole murder. Murder. Can't make this up. I don't like people trying to play in my face. You're not finna sit here and I think we gave them support. This is how they turn around and handle this shit. And act as if nobody's supposed to be mad about it. Kick rocks. Can't make this up. All right, y'all. Hit the floor when you can see in here. Let's go.
Rob and Judy, an emotional city council meeting here in Dolton tonight as a mourning family demanded answers.
Shame on you. My son is dead. And nobody has been charged.
The mother of Capri Alston denounces Dolton police and municipal leaders in the aftermath of Alston's.
Uh-oh. Hold on.
Municipal leaders in the aftermath of Alston's killing at a local establishment.
The Dolton Police Department is investigating. Mom and Dad, I've spoken with you guys. We met in person. I've spoken with both of you on a number of occasions since this has happened.
Last month, Alston died during an altercation in...
You can speak until Jesus returns. What is that accomplishing? File the damn charges. What are you doing? What you mean I've spoken to you all? You can, I don't care. And all this talking is not clearly getting to the point where charges are being filed to a prosecutor. I don't want you to keep calling me and God forbid. Look, I'm a mom. I think any mother right now can relate to how this mother is feeling. Any father out there can relate to how this father is feeling. Don't keep calling my damn phone. If you're too incompetent to file charges and forward this stuff to the prosecutor so they can get the charges filed to the court. It should come with all the actual evidence gathered from a full investigation, autopsy report. You have the medical examiner's office that plays a role in this. And then if you need to get experts to help with, admitting evidence into the case during a murder trial, that's what they're supposed to be doing. What are you calling them for when your actual job involves the investigation and gathering of evidence so that it can get to a prosecutor so they can file the charges to the court? Indict and charge this person formally. They have the right to a hearing, trial, and everything else in between. Let that play out in the court of law where it belongs. Not you calling the parents over and over again. And then they're asking you, okay, what are you doing to move this along? And you're like, oh, well, we're just calling you 3 times a week. Hell you mean? Yeah, I'm getting raunchy with it. Y'all brace yourselves and buckle up. Can't make this up.
Downtown Dolton. A male suspect was arrested and eventually released without charges. Alston's father tonight.
How do you release someone without charges? For a murder. This is hard to see, man.
But listen, process is painful. I wake up every day seeing my son laying on the ground. I see it. I see it. I see it. It's painful.
The ultimate charging decision comes from the Cook County State's Attorney, not the Dolton Police Department.
The killing has sparked outrage in a village.
Oh my God, I'm about to poke holes in it.
Former Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard showed up after the meeting demanding answers.
Remember when it was me? for any little thing, I got broadcast all over the.
Oh, it was me, girl. This is not about you. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Super stupid can still kiss my ass. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Why are you going up there making it about you, girl? Bye, Felicia.
State's attorney's office saying they have not received a request from the police here to review this case for criminal charges.
And you know what's so crazy? You know, I can believe the prosecutor's office, because we should at least be able to pull an arrest report. There should be some information that can be for you. Where are the police body camera footage? Where's the CCTV footage? Didn't they have cameras outside this cigar lounge? A place like that, you would have cameras. Neighboring businesses more than likely had cameras. What the hell are we doing? So between probable cause and evidence, somehow the police can't muster up a recommendation for charges to the prosecutor. The autopsy report alone would be a telltale sign. And it's sufficient. What you mean?
In Dolton tonight, Ravi Bajwal, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
For years, I've tried to protect, uplift, support community, but yet I went unheard in some cases due to.
I'm not doing this. You get on my nerve. This is Hannibal.
Who can murder somebody and walk away?
I wake up every day seeing my son laying on the ground. Some man, DeAndre Rucker, standing over here, shoot him 3 times.
Cause
he was shot 3 times. The person was identified. There will be witnesses. I'm sure there are prints on a weapon and other DNA. I don't care if it's sweat, tears, and skin cells, hair, anything. Gunshot residue test, was that done? You fire off a weapon, you're going to get some gunshot residue on your hands and fingers. Depending on the weapon, probably your clothes. Where's the gunshot residue test? See, when you understand how this stuff works, you know what to ask for. And if that stuff is missing, that's problematic. That means the police probably didn't even do that. And look how much time has passed by. You wouldn't be able to get any gunshot residue at this point off this board. Who is this Andre Rucker person?
Andre Rucker killed my brother and stood over my brother and shot him.
I have a question, Mayor House. Is he in your pocket? Did he donate to your campaign fund?
But y'all don't want to talk about nobody getting gunned down in the street, right? Because all y'all been in that man's pocket. He bought and paid for all y'all ass. Every last one of you. You bought and paid for, and you sold the community out.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? This is your super mayor, Tiffany ain't here.
No. And I hope Fulton County sees this and say, oh, okay, yeah.
Watch the faces of the board that replaced her. The woman.
I thought you was trying to prove that you lived in Fulton County. Well, what's going on with that? You're still calling yourself super mayor of another whole city in a different state. But yet you were trying to tell the commission board. I had to get this out right quick. You're trying to tell the commission board, girl, that you care about people in District 5 of Fulton County and you want to represent them as a commission? Girl, if you don't kick rocks.
That everyone wanted out of Dolton. The person everyone called the worst mayor in America. The one that these exact trustees ran a whole clean house campaign to get rid of. And she's back for murder of a former pro basketball player outside of a cigar lounge owned by the guy she was fighting with years ago. You cannot.
His name is DeAndre Rucker. And somehow he has managed to shoot someone 3 times and no formal charges or recommendation of such has been sent over from Dolton Police Department to the prosecutor. So Jason House and all of them in the police department, none of them should be upset if everybody have to go over their head and bring in the FBI and everyone else on a state level to light this on fire. Because otherwise, how do you justify not forwarding over information for formal charges to be filed against someone that took a man's life. He used a gun. It wasn't like a fist fight. And then, the police say, okay, both of you all battered each other, so we're not going to go through that. No, he's dead and gone. While DeAndre Rucker is still walking the earth as a free man with his liberty. Yeah, okay. The stupidity for me.
Make any of this up. And she came back with a message. And here's what she told the media outside that building.
Remember when it was me for any little thing?
No. I'm not in the mood. Not for that. How do you go up and
He
make that
takes
about
one
you?
person into custody that night, and then they let him go with no charges. And here's the line the village keeps repeating. The chief told the room that the charging decision wasn't his. It's with the Cook County State's attorney, and the decision coming in the incoming days.
The charging decision is not the Dolton Police Department's decision. We have been consulting with the state's attorney since the night it happened. The state's attorney may tell us to go back, analyze this evidence, get this evidence, talk to this person.
Hold on to that sentence.
Well, where's the evidence at? Where's the evidence at? Because we just saw the video where the prosecutor's office said they didn't send anything to us to file formal charges with the court. So, yeah, speaking of that, let's go over here and find out what this is. Can police charge you with a crime? This is on legalclarity.org. Here in the Lady Luck Club, we read. It's fundamental. Police officers do not formally charge individuals with crimes. While law enforcement play a significant role in the initial stages of a criminal case, the authority to formally file charges typically rests with a different entity within the justice system, that being the prosecutors. Understanding these distinct roles is important for comprehending how these cases proceed. Law enforcement are primarily responsible for investigating alleged criminal activity. Okay, so where's his evidence? Where's this police chief's evidence? What the hell his name is? Let me go back. What evidence has he gathered? Anybody know his
that
name?
the charging decision wasn't his. It's with the Cook County State's attorney, and the decision coming in the incoming days.
The charging decision is not the Dolton Police Department's decision. We have been consulting with the state's attorney since the night it happened. The state's
consulting? That's not necessary. You just forward over the information from your investigation, the evidence, the autopsy report, medical examination that will have the cause and manner of death on it. What do you mean? That's not something you need to consult with them on. Just send them over the information to file charges. Why is this difficult? Maybe he can't read. Yeah, don't get an attitude with our videos coming out about you clowning your dumb ass if you're gonna sit here and act as you're so incompetent and unable to fulfill your duties to ensure an investigation has been done, evidence has been gathered, and you forward over the request for the formal charges. Don't act as if you don't have probable cause to do even the arrest. What do you mean? He should have been held without bond. DeAndre Rucker should be sitting in jail without bond. What's going on? How do you let somebody like that go? You can't even call that self-defense entirely because the cause and effect need to be on the same playing field. So if someone does something to you, your response to that should not be beyond comprehension or beyond reasonable defense. Pulling out a gun and shooting someone 3 times is not reasonable for just a confrontation and an argument between grown-ass men. You can't make this up. That is not reasonable. If there were witnesses there, you took him to the jail and then you released him without charges, but you didn't do a gunshot residue test on his hands? Yeah, okay. Didn't talk to witnesses? Didn't look at the video footage from the establishment? Okay. So, oh, Lord, I hate incompetency. Their duties include gathering evidence, interviewing witnesses, and identifying suspects. So DeAndre Rucker is a suspect. You would have had sufficient probable cause to arrest and hold him, forward over charges to be filed, and then initiate your investigation to gather all the evidence you need. You know, testimony is evidence as well. That's why it is imperative for you to talk to witnesses. Wasn't he there with somebody? When officers have probable cause, a reasonable belief that a crime occurred and the suspect was involved, they can make an arrest. Upon arrest, officers detain individuals and prepare detailed reports, because, you know, this is important, summarizing the incident and collected evidence, including observations, witness statements, and physical evidence. You know, sort of that gunshot residue test. You know, video footage, fingerprints on a weapon, an actual weapon, DNA. You know, all the basic things you would gather when you're investigating a crime, let alone a murder. Somehow that just went over the police chief's head. Okay. While police can recommend charges based on their investigation, this is what he's failed to do. He hasn't even recommended charges to the prosecutor. They don't formally file the charges. See, the point is, the question needs to be asked, why haven't you recommended charges to the prosecutor? Where's your evidence? Specifically, any physical evidence, DNA tests, gunshot residue. Where is that at? What was the weapon he used? What type of gun? What about the autopsy report? That would have the manner and cause of death. This is absolute madness. Their role is to apprehend and present the case to the appropriate legal authority for further action. Prosecutor is the primary legal authority responsible for formally filing criminal charges. Prosecutors, such as DAs, state attorneys, U.S. attorneys, represent the government in criminal proceedings. So the case would be the state of Illinois versus DeAndre Rucker. That's how the documents, charging documents, would be formatted and listed as. They review the evidence presented by law enforcement to determine whether to pursue charges and what specific charges to bring. Yeah, but if you don't formally introduce it and forward it over to the prosecutor, then what are you expecting them to do? There's a reason why we have a process in place. And yet the police chief doesn't even talk about why he has failed to actually send over a request for those formal charges. He's saying things that is basic fundamental information anyone can look up and read in Google. Like so. We can all look this up. I know that the prosecutor brings forth formal charges. Why haven't you forwarded over a recommendation for it? This is crazy. I want to make sure I don't get ahead of myself. All right? We're not going to read this whole thing. I just wanted to kind of get in the bulk of this. Because this is the part where the police, the captain, whatever, the police sheriff, whatever he is, he needs to recommend the charges. He needs to provide the results of his initial investigation. And once those charges are filed, the arrest is made, then there's a bond hearing. Something like this, I don't think he should be released out on bond unless the bond is so high to where it will be, unreasonable and more than likely he would stay detained until he gets a trial at the very least. But all of that is considered when you're doing your investigation. What's the likelihood DeAndre Rucker does not go to court if he is released? What type of security threat does he still pose? Being free out on the streets. All of that is put in that charging. There's a security assessment done. You have the charging documents that's done. And then you have the initial probable cause affidavit with the report summarizing what happened, the investigation itself, the evidence they've gathered so far. All of that is then forwarded to the prosecutor. Where the hell is all that documentation? Where is it? The process of filing criminal charges are formally brought in court through several mechanisms. One common method is the prosecutor's filing of a criminal complaint, a document outlining the charges and supporting facts, often based on police reports. Guess what? That will be available to the public. Where is that at? For minor offenses, a police officer might issue a citation serving as a formal notice of charges and a court appearance requirement. For more serious crimes, especially felonies, charges can be brought through a grand jury indictment. So we're talking about the 3-letter alphabet, boys, for the most part, like the FBI. Boy, this is painful. I'll put the link to this in the chat. You guys can read it. This is from legalclarity.org. It's a reputable website where they kind of give background information on legal concepts, definitions of terms, etc. So I'll drop that in the chat because this is absolutely insane. Shout out to Hannibal is Hungry. Let's get back to this.
State's attorney may tell us to go back, analyze this evidence, get this evidence, talk to this person.
Hold on to that sentence. It's with the state attorney, because at the end of this video, I'm going to show you what the state attorney actually said, and it does not match. Not even a little bit. So stick around for that, because it may be the craziest thing in this whole story. But first, we got to talk about this chaotic, emotional meeting that happened yesterday because of who the family says pulled the trigger and who sits on the board. Check it out.
Natalie Norman. And my son was brutally murdered in Dolton, Capri, Austin on May 21st. I'm here because I want updates on the charges. I want to know what the holdup is. Why haven't this man been charged with the murder of my son? Who can murder somebody and walk away? You looked in my face and told me that they were going to be working on this, and no one is.
Yeah, who can murder someone and shoot them 3 times, walk away with the help of the police department? And you mean to tell me that the mayor, trustees, and all these people that knows DeAndre Rucker on a more personal level can't just say, you know what, right is right and wrong is wrong, and we want the police to pursue this. And if his ass needs to go to jail forever, there it is. Because someone else lost their life. Jason House is still walking the earth as well. You're the mayor. You can report your police chief for being derelict of duty if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty. Please don't make me have to tell you exactly how. So there's some level of responsibility that that mayoral position holds when it comes down to law enforcement. What it can't present is a conflict, but there's nothing wrong with the mayor saying, I encourage the police department to abide by the law, to uphold their duties, and if they have probable cause, to do exactly what you need to do and do this the right way. And no, it does not take 1,000 years. He should have been held the night that he put 3 bullets into this man. And he was released without charges because the police didn't even recommend it. You mean?
Charged. That place is open. I know a lot of people thought my son was a nobody. But as y'all can see, that he was a
the place is open. It's open. Anybody here? What the hell? Was it ever closed? What's going on, Mindy and Juju? How y'all doing? Heidi, oh gosh, I may not want to watch it then because I get too sensitive about stuff. Yeah, it's man, this is it's the families crying out for help. As a mother of 2 sons, oh my God, I cannot imagine, y'all. This is why I say I would reshift the gravitational pull of this planet. Because of stuff like this, where you have this incompetent ass police chief, and you're not getting this pressure from the mayor, the trustees, the people that know him to say, no, we're not going to stand behind a whole murder. We're not doing that. What we're going to do is stand behind justice. And if it means you going to jail for the rest of your life, that's exactly what's going to happen. Otherwise, they don't owe him shit. Unless they do. My God. God, this is very irritating to see this level of incompetency and negligence. And they could sue the city of Dolton for a wrongful death. Maybe that's what the family needs to do. Sue the city, the Dolton Police Department. If the medical examiner's office wants to knuck if they buck, add their ass to a lawsuit for wrongful death. Because either way, then you'll be able to get discovery. They will sit here and drag this nonsense out into kingdom come unless you take more drastic measures. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. Just hearing that he was not only released the same night, the police failed to actually recommend charges for a homicide. You mean to tell me the actual, what's this, a cigar lounge restaurant is just like a cigar lounge, like a hookah bar, something like that? The establishment is still open. You understand how tainted that crime scene is? Why would they not close it down? If it takes them 2 to 3 days, up to a week, to go through that crime scene to collect physical evidence, so be it. It's still open. Not a care in the world for somebody that died right in front of it. Jesus Christ. Make it make sense to me. It's open. People walking through, destroying the actual physical evidence that would have been there had they just shut it down, did what they needed to do, until they had sufficient evidence from the establishment where the crime occurred to be able to say, okay, now we're going to give approval to have this reopened. And why would they? I mean, if the guy was still in, if DeAndre Rucker was still in jail, they probably would not have reopened it. It's the part where he walks free from jail that night. That's staggering to me. What's the interrogation? Where's his sworn affidavit? What type of conversation did he have with the police, with the detectives, investigators? What was that conversation like? What's the body camera footage? Yeah, this is crazy.
Professional basketball player.
It's
He
still
played for
open.
the IBA, the ABA. Just didn't make it to the NBA. He was loved by many people. He was loved by many people. And I know that y'all think he was a nobody. His life matters. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Oh my God.
My son is dead and nobody has been charged. He was brutally murdered, center mass.
That's a mom
What?
who buried her son 2 weeks ago and walked into a government building to beg for an update. This is just pain right here. Something that most of us can't even imagine. This is a small village of 20,000 people, and the family is getting impatient. It's taking too long to figure out what happened. But I want you to hold on to one thing that she said. Who can murder somebody and walk away? Because that's not just grief talking. That's a literal question with a literal answer. Somebody was in custody, and then somebody did walk away. The police let him go. Now, there's a legal reason for that, obviously. But from where she's standing, a man stood over her son. Then he went home.
I don't know if there's a legal reason for them letting him go. The only way he should have been released should have been through a bond being set. But he could have been charged with murder. That's why you have what's called that probable cause. That factor alone, along with the just most fundamental evidence you can gather, should have been sufficient for them to recommend charges. He would have had a hearing. They could have processed and booked him properly. And then you let the judge determine whether or not, based on the actual crime, his past history, all that stuff, as to whether he should be released on any bond. Period. But once again, they failed to even recommend the charges. And they're trying to shift blame on the prosecutor, like the prosecutor is going to sit and take the fall for Dolton Police Department. You understand that more than one police department exists. in the state of Illinois. The entire hell is happening.
Sit with that as we get more into this video.
She a liar,
Hey, Snake.
civil rights violator. Right? She attacked seniors, but she on the ethics committee. Make that make sense. Stan, you just rolled the box.
Asked straight up, do you even have the pocket? From what I'm seeing, the eye test is saying
I can't believe this thing is still
going on there. Some of it you can find out. Some I even had a chance to go through it, but I can tell you what's going on right now. What she's saying is that this man, DeAndre Rucker, is a very powerful, rich person. And basically she's saying that the trustees have been brought. If you check the Dolton Village YouTube page, there are multiple videos celebrating either.
Why do we put people above the rule of law? Because they have money. Because someone asked me that. Why is it that the wealth somehow makes him impervious to the rule of law? This is what happens when you enable and you're negligent in holding people accountable. He literally thinks that he gets to shoot someone center mass 3 times, take someone's life, because he's a punk ass coward that had to pull out a gun on somebody. And somehow it's supposed to just live scot-free with no charges being recommended or referred over to the prosecutor because he has money. No one outside of Dolton probably even know who the hell he is. So he's not that famous at all. That cigar lounge, whatever it is, could easily be a restaurant or a lounge run by someone else. Why is he impervious to accountability? This is just gross negligence and incompetency of the police department.
Opening of some kind of facility or opening the cigar lounge. So he was a very powerful person. And Trina Downs is saying that the board is in Rucker's pocket. From what I'm seeing, the eye test is saying he's a very powerful person. He has have some level of influence. This is the village that is broke. Lawsuits, debt, a bill backlog, and then they turn around and spend $375,000 buying the Pope's childhood home that I'm sure is not generating anything. Residents stood up to that meeting and asked straight up, do we even have the money to buy that? And the board just voted anyway.
Were you in the meeting tonight?
I was in a meeting tonight.
It was very emotional.
It was very emotional, as it should be, because somebody lost their life, you know, and nothing's being done about it.
Just one case. This is a department that doesn't close cases. That's why she wants a formal investigation into Dolton PD through the FBI's own office. Again, this is crazy.
My name is Shakira, and I got a few questions.
This could definitely be escalated to the state level. They could, you know, get a petition going, make a request to the State Department to actually handle this case if Dolton Police Department decides to keep being a bunch of dumbasses. Pretend like they can't read or gather evidence or do the job that they were sworn to do. So you have a killer out there that's the shooter. At least he identified as the shooter by witnesses, not being charged. And they act like they're scared to say his name. DeAndre Rucker, I want you to know I don't give a damn that you're roaming this earth. I owe you nothing. And no one should be afraid to say that you shot someone 3 times in the chest in a mask. So why the hell are these other grown adults scared to do this? DeAndre Rucker doesn't pay my rent, bills, mortgage, or anything else. So I could give a damn about how he feels about this. Why are they scared of him? Can't make this up, man.
For one, for the chief of police, why haven't the witnesses been contacted since then?
Sure,
have they been contacted?
For those who aren't aware, there's a basketball player, and I'll go over this information right quick. Let me go to this article first. This is Capri Austin. He played professional basketball in the Philippines. Even the Philippines is naming they're naming and they're saying how he died. So he was a basketball player overseas. He went to this cigar lounge in Dolton, Illinois. And the owner of that establishment, DeAndre Rucker, so far, based on what's been reported from, and I believe he was with his girlfriend. So that's a witness right there. A confrontation broke out. DeAndre Rucker pulled out a gun, shot him 3 times. He died. Somehow, the police department has failed to recommend charges for DeAndre Rucker for homicide so that the prosecutor can take those charges to the court and get a criminal case going. But he lost his life to that cigar owner. So here is just the photo. This is part of my thumbnail. It says here, former terra firma's import Capri Austin died in a reported shooting incident in Dolton, Illinois on Saturday, Manila time. Austin suited up for the DYIP in the 2019 PBA Governor's Cup. Under former coach Jonadel Cardell during the rookie season, it's kind of giving some background. The franchise was still carrying the Colombian banner back then. Hold on. I'm just trying to give some background context on this. Okay. What is it? Oh, what is going on? Hold on. All right. In a report published by oh, now this thing want to act up. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. What in the world? I'm sorry, I should have printed this. This is ridiculous. In a report published by Fox 32 Chicago, Austin was at Rucker Cigar Lounge with his girlfriend when an argument or confrontation broke out before shots were fired, according to family members. Austin, 31, was fatally shot and died later on. A person is currently in custody. This is an older article of Dr. Police, as Austin's family wanted a full investigation on the shooting incident. Shanair Austin, father of the pro player, said the family was devastated by the loss of his son. He was 6'3" from Midwestern State University, played for DYIP 7 years ago, and then it gives some statistics and everything. I mean, he's getting RIP tributes from other countries. And then, of course, if you just do a quick search for a summary, this is the best that I came up with. But that's why I have the articles to go with it. As you all can see, the article we just went over is being cited here. And he was a father of 2. He is survived by his parents, mother, 5 siblings. His basketball career included stints in the Philippines, Chile, Indonesia, Uruguay, Argentina, Bolivia, and the United Kingdom. And he was known for his impressive performance at Midwestern State University. So that's kind of just in a summary nutshell who he is. And I'll put the link to this article in the chat. This is from the DYIP basketball, like the Philippines, like their sports article. Even they're paying him proper tribute. And now the police department act as if they can't figure out how to do an investigation to recommend formal charges for murder. Even if the prosecutor changed the charge, they'll be able to make that judgment call based on a myriad of factors. Like, let's say they decide to give him a plea deal. So that first degree could become second degree or aggravated murder. But at least send them the recommendation and then let the evidence flow where it goes and let them decide how exactly they want to pursue this with the court. But the police department hasn't even done it. They just sat there and lied to this family's face, saying that, well, we don't file formal charges. We didn't ask you that. Why haven't you recommended charges to be filed from the prosecutor? Where's the probable cause affidavit or your report for that to be generated? See, I understand the elements that go into this, and some of the stuff would be available to the public. So where are all these documents? It's so crazy how they handling this.
Contacted, I can actually answer that. No, they haven't. So if an ongoing investigation is ongoing, you would think that they'll be constantly keeping in communication, right? I guess not. I had detectives laugh and think that it was funny. The night of. Andrew Holmes, you marched the street and promote against gun violence. Where are you? Where are you?
I've been reaching out.
Oh, okay.
I've been reaching out.
Who?
BLT, and he. No. I reached.
Non-existent.
1 second.
Non-existent.
Please,
Back to me. Non-existent.
Mr. Carroll.
Thank you. Non-existent. I have a question, Mayor House. Is he in your pocket? Did he donate to your campaign fund? Why was the Melanie Shaw Center renamed Rucker Athletics after Mayor Mayor Shaw daughter who was murdered in a car accident? Why erase her legacy? You have people in the place right now working in it. It's a free-for-all. You let them come run your town. That's what you're telling us, right? I want to tell you this. Capri Life matters. He had 2 children.
Yeah. And
not only did he have 2 children, he was a father to my child. He stood up for everyone. A gentle person. A person whose life had dignity, respect, honor. But let me ask you this. Do you guys really care? I watched you, trustee, whatever your name is, laugh, smirk.
Which one?
Thought it was funny. Let your kids.
Which trustee is she talking about? Y'all know which one she talking to? Man, this is sad. This is beyond sad. Time to stop for your request. Exactly. This is so crazy. Who was laughing? Oh, you're welcome, TR. I like for people to be informed. Shout out to all of you all that came in. I'm on one today. Stuff like this is disturbing. Good to see you all up in here. Thank y'all so much. Hit that like button, and we got to share this. We got to get this out. I don't care if Jason House get mad at me. You don't run shit here. Can't make this up. Or his police chief.
He'd be gunned down. Don't talk to me. I don't even want to hear what you got to say. Because if you cared, you wouldn't even made a Facebook post. Check your facts. I'm not the CFO. That's what you cared about. That's what you cared about. Don't talk to me. I don't want to hear it. You're a clown. Back to you. Back to you, Mayor House.
But it's irrelevant. This is not the time to try to sit here and prove some point about you being a CFO. Is that Kiana Belcher? This isn't the time for you to sit here and try to make this argument. That is a moot point. It's irrelevant. You too focused on trying to defend yourself about not being a CFO. You know him personally. Why not tell him flat out, you know what? Even if you and I had ties in the past, I'm not sitting here supporting you when you're wrong. Because you took somebody's life. And I don't care what the confrontation was. You're a grown-ass man. You put out a gun and shoot somebody 3 times? For what? Oh, no, he's yelling at me. This is madness.
Do what you do. You talked about Tiffany Henry, right? You guys wanted her up out of here, right? She told you and warned you guys about this, right? And what happened? Yeah, check the time. Is it 3 minutes? It's sick. It's sick. All of y'all are sick. And it's sick that y'all think that it's funny. You about the only one village clerk
she be
with
laughing?
Dignity up here that look people in their eyes when they're talking. You keep a poker face because you don't think it's funny, right? But you smirk. You
Kiana Belcher smirking and laughing. Girl, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. This man had 2 kids. He had a family. He had people that loved him. And you sitting up there laughing? I I got in Tiffany Higgins' ass when she did that nonsense about the young lady that was shot by the Dolton Police Department. And then she completely disregarded it like it was, she didn't give a damn. I got in her ass, and I'm going to do the same thing with Kiana Belcher. The audacity of you to laugh. Isn't she a mother? Isn't she a mother? Somehow the humanity in all of this has been lost. Well, this is, what a mockery to sit here and laugh in these people's faces. While DeAndre Rucker is still walking the earth as a free man, breathing God's air.
Couldn't even look at nobody. You couldn't even show no respect. How dare you? Hang your head down low. You're sick. All y'all fucking
laughing.
sick.
This is a very emotional speech, but this is one with actual questions. So let's slow it down. She asked the police chief if the witnesses had even been contacted since the night of. And the answer she got or didn't get was no. Now think about that. If this is an active, ongoing investigation, like they keep saying, the witnesses are the investigation. Then she asked the mayor flat out, is he in your pocket? Did he?
Especially his girlfriend, if his girlfriend was there. And they weren't the only two people there, aside from DeAndre Rucker. Capri Alston and his girlfriend were not the only other two people there. So you know they had to have other people in the establishment at that time. And video footage. Where's the damn video footage? So they didn't talk to any witnesses, but you got these clowns sitting up here talking about, we reached out to the family. We want you to forward over charges to the prosecutor. We want you to recommend murder charges to be forwarded to the prosecutor. And at this stage, it's unfortunate because it's been so much time that passed and this whole place has still been open. Man, that crime scene is so tainted, it's not even funny. So where's that physical evidence somehow they gathered that night? They chose to let DeAndre Rucker go. So if you don't have the power to formally charge someone in a court of law, why would you make the decision to let him go? As opposed to recommending those charges, and then you let the prosecutor take it from there. And if they drop the ball, at least you did your job. At least you did your part. At least you did the right thing. At least you fulfilled your duties as a commissioned police officer. As an officer of the court. This is absolute bullshit.
Donate to your campaign? The same money question as Downs, and the man didn't answer the question. I think it's a fair question to ask a sitting mayor in public. Then a question that no one answered. Why did the Melanie Shaw Fitness Center renamed Rucker Athletics? It was renamed Rucker Athletics in the opening of January 2026. And then she just flat out got extremely angry, calling Wall sick. And honestly, after watching a board not make eye contact with a grieving family for an hour, I'm not mad at her for being that angry.
My name is
Hell, I wouldn't be that man. I would be worse. I would be savage. The hell you mean? I would have gone full-blown beast mode. My brother or my sons. First of all, my sons and then my brother. Male cousins, uncle, don't care. If it's my loved one, I wish the hell you would laugh and smirk in my face about it. I wish the hell you would. And this stuff right here, like this is why it's imperative for you all to hit that damn like button. Because people need to see this is what's going on. And add some pressure on to just have this escalated to the state level. Because obviously, the local level are just too incompetent to do a damn thing the right way. This is the one chance you have to show that you truly care about just human life and human decency and your constituents. And this is how they handle this shit. Yeah, let's laugh at these people who lost their loved one and family member from someone that somehow Kiana Belcher wants to distance herself from, talking about, oh, I haven't been CFO in 3 years. But yet you're not saying flat out, y'all need to recommend charges then. What are we doing? Police chief. Not one time has, in this whole video, did the mayor or any of these trustees get in the police chief's ass for not recommending charges. Not one time. And yet some of them are mothers with sons. It's just the humanity is just gone in this.
My name is Shanair Austin. I am Capri's dad. And I want to say this first. Capri is special. He's been special. And I want to say this to everybody up here. I want to thank everyone from all the way from here to there, to there, to there, to there, for looking at us when we're talking. Belcher, you weren't looking at us. You weren't looking at us. You weren't looking at us. And that said a lot to me. Just chill, just chill, just chill. Listen, my son was special. My son checked off all the,
This is crazy.
Go, y'all calm. My son checked off all the boxes.
This is how a real man handles this right here. You gotta respect this man right here. The respect he definitely demands in this very serious situation is stellar. This is how fathers do it. This is how loving fathers, this is how it's done. It doesn't have to be a shouting match. But he has every right to be angry, upset, and hurt, especially if that girl is sitting up there laughing and smirking in their face. And the only thing she can say is, well, I haven't been CFO for 3 years. I don't give a damn. Why don't you sit here right now and tell this police chief, recommend charges to the prosecutor, or we're going to look into you for being derelict of duty. Period. And then will we report you to the commission board for the police officers? Make sure you get put under investigation. Why can't Kiana Belcher tell the police chief that right now? Or the mayor? You don't have to tell him what to actually put in the documentation. But you can ensure that you let him know. We're not going to tolerate you just ignoring this either. How long has it been since he was shot and killed? It's been what, 2 or 3 weeks? Man, you can't make this up.
He went to school. He stayed out the streets. He went to college. He had an exceptional career in basketball overseas. He did all of that stuff. And all I'm asking right now as a father, I would not allow my son's death to go unheard or unanswered. We need answers. I want to know why this business is still open. What I've come to understand is that, man, when violence happens at businesses, an investigation, it should be shut down. We should be shut down.
Automatic.
And we would not stop until my son's death is answered for. And so whatever y'all got to do, whatever it's going to take, we're going to keep showing up here. We're going to march down there. We're going to stand in front of his business. We're going to do whatever we can to make sure that Capri Austin, his name be remembered forever. And I understand process.
I'm going to say this right now. It does not take 2 or 3 weeks to recommend charges to be filed. They had probable cause. They had a weapon, a suspect identified. This is why we read that legalclarity.org article, so that people can understand why DeAndre Rucker should still be sitting in jail in accordance with the law.
But listen, process is painful. I wake up every day seeing my son laying on the ground. Some man, DeAndre Rucker, standing over here, shooting him 3 times.
Hey, Ginger.
I see it. I see it. I see it. It's painful. All I'm asking is please get it done. Please get it done. That's all I'm asking. Please get it done. Please get it.
Sue them for wrongful death. Period. Sue them. Oh, y'all don't want to actually do your jobs and investigate a crime? You don't want to recommend those formal charges over? Okay. We'll just sue your ass for wrongful death. And we'll make sure this is escalated to the state level. And we don't care if this has got to be reviewed by the FBI. Don't give it in. I don't know if Capri Austin lived in Dolton or if he was just traveling there. But I certainly would push for this to be escalated. Yeah, keep on acting like you want to keep smiling and smirking in my face. I will name every last one of them as a co-defendant in a wrongful death lawsuit, including the city of Dolton, police department, the medical examiner's office, if they decide to sit here and get stupid, the mayor and all those trustees, especially Kiana Belcher. If you're going to sit there and laugh in somebody's face, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, girl.
Done for my family. I'm done.
And there it is. The father said a name, DeAndre Rucker, out loud on the record. Now, we're going to be careful here. It's all alleged, right? We know with the family's account, nobody's been charged. The chief wouldn't even confirm the name. So when I say Rucker, I'm telling you what the family is alleging, not a conviction. Obviously, DeAndre Rucker is the person that people believe that shot and killed Capri Austin. No one has been charged. No one has been convicted. But the mayor won't even say DeAndre Rucker. I'll let you guys decide what does that really mean. Because DeAndre Rucker is not a random guy. He runs Rucker Holdings. By his own description, a company with over 24 businesses deep. Real estate, brand development, that cigar lounge, the one that Capri died outside of, and a 38,000 square foot fitness center, Rucker Athletics, opened in Dolton in January with a complete ribbon cutting with a state senator there. Built as a public-private partnership, meaning the village was in business with this man months before the shooting.
So what inspired you guys to open Rucker Athletics?
And instead of them remaining impartial and neutral and saying to the police chief in that meeting, it has been 2-3 good weeks since this has happened. And the girlfriend that was there, and there probably sufficient video footage, the family have stated DeAndre Rucker did this. And you mean to tell me you can't forward over charges? You can't recommend charges to the prosecutor? Why can't they just say that and remain neutral and impartial? They should be blasting out their police chief for being so negligent and incompetent. I can guarantee you all they didn't process any crime scene at all. Not at all.
So it's pretty much bringing something much better and more to the community about fitness and training for the kids.
We are grateful for the partnership with Rucker and Rucker Athletics. This building has been condemned for many years. It's cost the village hundreds of thousands of dollars. And now we have something that's available for our community. A swimming pool open, as he mentioned, programs for seniors, for youth, and for everybody in our community. So we're proud of this.
So that's the person the father is calling a powerful figure. So it's not paranoia. This man has a documented, celebrated relationship with the village. That's the uncomfortable part. That's why the room doesn't trust what's going on right now. Before we get to Belcher's response, you need to understand something between Tiffany Henyard and DeAndre Rucker, because this story didn't start May 21st. It started in 2022. Tiffany Henyard, back when she was still the mayor, had a problem with DeAndre Rucker, his company Rucker Holdings that was operating in Dolton. They had permits, and then Henyard moved to pull those permits. Rucker went public about it. In a 2022 Dolton Township board meeting, he said his company was treated unfairly in Dolton, and the reason Henyard was coming after him, he said it because he wouldn't fire one of his employees. That employee was Kiana Belcher, the same Kiana Belcher that was simultaneously sitting as Dolton trustee and serving as the CFO of Rucker's company. The story goes, Henyard tried to force Rucker to choose, lose the permits or cut Belcher loose. He refused, and the trustees who replaced her, including Belcher.
But see, that goes to question whether or not that was a conflict of interest. As opposed to saying, you know what, I don't want to give you a permit And this is why you got to do things the right way. This is why. Because it would have been a lot more understandable had she been more clear in why she did not want him to bring his business into Dolton. And if she can, whether she can stop it or not, she could have articulated exactly why. Was there an actual conflict of interest here? Because it seems like it. And what's astounding to me, DeAndre Rucker has not came out and denied shooting and killing Capri Austin at all. I haven't seen any video where he came out and flatly denied it. He wasn't at that meeting. What the hell is he? Has he even been seen since then? He has not one time publicly denied shooting this man. And this is not an opportunity where silence is golden. You don't have to describe in detail what happened. But if you truly did not, if someone is accusing you of murder and saying that you shot their son 3 times center mass, don't you think if you were truly innocent, you would have came out and said, I did not commit this act, and I will help you all find the person. Simply because I want to be, responsible and transparent, because this happened outside of my establishment. But I did not do this. You think he would come out and just say that, right? Or is it too much like right?
And the village went into business with Rucker's company 4 months before the shooting. So when Henya walks back to the building and talking about following the money, start with the board, that's what she's really talking about. She's talking about this long-running feud between her and Kiana Belcher.
Yep. Hey, y'all. So we here still in Dolton. We're talking to the media and just trying to bring. Stay tuned. I'll keep reporting different things and let y'all know. Keeping up with my journey.
So we need to talk about the trustee, Kiana Belcher. She got her name into the situation right now. And obviously there's a reason for that.
Trustee Belcher.
Okay. Well, they're leaving out, but I would like to say this, and I'm saying it publicly, because while I understand that someone has lost their life in tragedy, they have made this a political spectacle.
You are an elected official in a political spectrum. That's like a pastor saying they've made this a religious spectacle. Well, you are a public figure in a church. You are connected to a religious sector. She's an elected official. She's a trustee. This isn't political. You know what's political? You sitting there smiling and smirking, and then not telling the police chief right then and there, if you don't recommend charges to be filed from the prosecutor on this and release any and all evidence that can be released to the family and show proof that you recommended these charges and sent that over to the prosecutor's office, we're going to put your ass on an investigation. And we're going to take you off the payroll for a while until you get your act together. Otherwise, we could just look for somebody else. Hire anyone else. But see, this is the thing. They're not even getting on the ass of the police chief. They're not sitting there saying, we're demanding that you release whatever you can to this family as far as evidence. You had probable cause. Why didn't you all forward charges to the prosecutor the night that Capri Austin was shot? Why did you all release DeAndre Rucker? Why can't she ask these questions right now to this police chief? Why didn't she do that during that meeting? She didn't even say, I don't believe he did it. Her whole defense is, this is political. I don't work for them. I haven't been CFO for 3 years. Blah, blah, blah. She hasn't even said, I don't think he did this. And I don't want, the opportunity for an investigation to slip away either. So yes, I would definitely support charges to be forwarded over to the prosecutor. I would definitely support that. I'll make sure the video footage is released, that they do the right thing. She can't even say that. I know damn well you're not sitting there smiling and smirking.
And I worked for DeAndre Rucker since 2023. If anybody fact check or whatever, they would know that.
I don't give a damn.
I feel it has not only created chaos in our community, but the police department has been in contact with whoever and is doing their job. Just as they're stating, and whoever is here, all the things that's going on Facebook, Instagram, everything. I have children too.
Thank you.
And they're seeing my face plastered all over the internet for something I had nothing to do with. I was at home minding my business. And I feel it's very unfair.
But this is not about you trying to prove that you're no longer CFO. That is an irrelevant point to try to prove right now. It is irrelevant. A man lost his life, and your police chief can't even confirm if he recommended charges to be filed to the prosecutor. He can't confirm that he gathered any physical evidence, that he ensured that they actually conducted an investigation. Calling the family back and forth, trying to get their statements is not enough when it comes to an investigation. You can't say we're investigating this. We've been calling you all and talking to you all. Yeah, but you got this restaurant open, and Lord knows that crime scene was not processed. So what the hell is going on? They don't have to be scared of the police chief to put them in check right now. If you're going to do things that's going to put you in the line of fire for conflict of interest, then why can't you just go off on the police chief right now for being an idiot, for being negligent, for not doing a thorough investigation, and then for lying to these people in their face? You know, all of them have to know that the recommendation of formal charges was not forwarded to the prosecutor. I won't put that past them. I will not give them credit and sit here and say, well, you know, maybe they didn't know it wasn't done. No. Because if it were done the night that he was shot, then everything would have been booked properly. And there would have been sufficient evidence to start with the probable cause. And then to have the investigation initiated. It's just that simple. You're too busy trying to defend something where you claim you have not been a CFO for 3 years. Okay, so why sit here and go through all this? Why not just get on the police sheet? Tell him to his face right then and there, you're going to have to show us some evidence and proof that you're actually investigating this. We're not doing this. It's like I want to distance myself, but I don't want him to be held accountable either. My God.
To keep being attacked on social media with something that I had nothing to do with. I'm not employed by the person, haven't been employed by the person in more than 3 years. And I feel it's unfair. Smith & Wesson sell guns. Is everybody accusing everybody that's employed by Smith & Wesson? I just feel
irrelevant. Objection, Your Honor, irrelevant. It is irrelevant. That is a moot point. Are you trying to say guns kill people and not people? Yeah, you know, because the gun somehow grew 2 legs and just got up and walked. Forced itself into DeAndre Rucker's hands and then forced him to raise the gun up and shoot somebody 3 times to the mask. And this, Capri Austin was not a short, small person. Right? He was like over 6 feet 3 or something like that. On average, he's not a small guy. So to make it seem like, you know, I haven't worked for him, but you know, I don't have anything to do with that. Oh, okay. So tell the police chief to recommend the charges. Why would you sit there and let the police chief lie to their face? And then the prosecutor put out a statement to the contrary saying, well, we haven't received anything. So what are they talking about? Tell them to show evidence that they sent us something. So what's the mayor and the trustees' response to that? If the prosecutor said they haven't sent us a damn thing, then what is the response to that then? Has any of these trustees or the mayor put out a statement saying, listen, the prosecutor's office said they didn't receive anything. Now we're about to get on the police chief ass because he's not going to make us look bad. And DeAndre Rucker can kick rocks. Keep on acting like you want to cover up a whole assassination if you want to. That could be criminal charges for them. They need to stop playing. And yes, Juju, to answer your question, they could get a civil proceeding going for wrongful death. This is one of the things I was just saying at the beginning. They can sue the city, the village of Dolton, the police department, the mayor, the trustees, all of them for wrongful death. Because if they're not even trying to even encourage charges to be filed from the prosecutor and for the police to do their job, then name them in a wrongful death lawsuit and make it a federal lawsuit. I do believe this young man may have lived in a different state. But file a wrongful death lawsuit against him. I mean, hell, might as well. Why, you don't owe them any grace. They don't owe them anything. Oh, okay, so y'all want to act like you're stupid. Oh, okay, we got you. We'll go ahead and file a lawsuit, sue you all for wrongful death. Keep playing.
So that it's unfair, and I'm sorry for their tragedy and their loss. But at the same time, people have to realize that people have families and they have made this tragedy a political spectacle.
Oh, child.
Thank you.
But here's my problem with what she actually said. She stood up there and basically defended herself against being called a murderer. The whole Smith & Wesson sell guns, I guess, argument, the whole bit with her saying, you can't blame me for what this man did. And she's right. You can't, but nobody did. Go back and listen. I don't think anyone in that room that said that Kiana Belcher pulled the trigger, not her mother.
No one said that. No one. This is her guilty conscience speaking, I guess. Who knows? Kiana Belcher, you being pretty heartless and soulless right now. And then you smiling and smirking in their face? Fuck you mean? They went easy on you, Kiana Belcher. I don't know many mothers that would sit there and let somebody smirk and smile in their face and not ether their ass. Because I know I would have. For my kids, yeah, that should be expected. Expect me to ether you when it comes to my children. And don't let it get to the point where I'm not verbally responding to you. Yeah, I want you to think I'm not concerned about you going after my kids. Yeah, okay. Keep thinking that. Keep hope alive. They should have eaten her.
Not a father, not a sister, nobody. So she answered a question that nobody asked. That's the move. You pick an accusation that is easy to knock down. I'm not a murderer. And then you knock that down. So you never have to tackle the real question that is actually hard to answer. And that situation is the term conflict of interest. That's it. You worked for this man, the CFO of Rucker Holdings, apparently. Lansing Journal confirmed it as well. She was there, and she was there until 2023, I believe. You sit on the board of a village that did business with him, and that village is now the one everyone's looking over how this case is being handled. Nobody needs you to be guilty of a crime. They need you to understand why it looks the way it looks and maybe take a step back from it. Instead, she made herself the victim, called it a political spectacle. And honestly, that was the moment that she could have just lowered the temperature in the room, saying, I hear you. I get why this looks bad. And here's what I'm going to do about it. She did the complete opposite. She made it about her. A family is burying a 30-year-old man. And the trustee statement is all about how she's being treated unfairly. That's a really terrible argument. I think most people would rather deal with someone giving them a lot of issues online than being shot and murdered. That statement could have been so much better than what it was.
I just got a question. I asked the question on the Facebook.
And not even just better, could have just been left unsaid. It's unnecessary. She would not have been able to say that shit in court. That would have been objected. It's irrelevant. That's a moot point. No one asked you, if you murdered him. But why can't you just sit there and tell the police chief to recommend the charges then? Why not at that moment get on the police chief's ass? What evidence do you all have to prove that y'all recommended charges to the prosecutor? No one's saying that you're responsible for formally filing them, but you recommend them to the prosecutor. You have to do an investigation. Did you process the crime scene? Why did you all release him? You made the judgment call to release him without sending over the recommendation for charges, and yet and still, you want to duck, dodge, and deflect from the fact that you have no evidence to show that you sent anything to a prosecutor, especially when they come back and debunk it. And now it becomes a tick for tat, where they're trying to shift blame on each other. No grieving mother wants to hear that shit.
Page when they posted the community pair, y'all can at least release a statement. All of this, so there. That's all. I know due process. At least, come on.
You're proving that that's happening.
Carson and Steve, you running social media or someone else doing it now? We can't even get on a statement to prove, Brother Mayor. We cannot. At least there was a fatal shooting in your city, and not even a mention on. He ain't even worth a statement. Thank you for your time.
But this is the biggest issue here. The chief of police stood in front of the family in that room on the record and said this.
I've spoken with both of you on a number of occasions since this has happened to try to give you some updates and explain to you the process. Our detective.
That's something they can read online. To the Alston family, I did the same thing. I dropped the link in the chat. You can go on legalclarity.org to understand how this process works. What he needs to be saying is, here's the evidence that we recommended charges for homicide over to the prosecutor. Then here's all the evidence. Now just sue his ass. Sue him. Sue him, sue the police department, sue the mayor, sue the trustees, sue the village of Dolton, sue the shit out of him. Wrongful death, sue him. That'll get it going.
Detectives collect the evidence. When the evidence is collected, some of the evidence has to be sent for analysis. Analysis does not.
What evidence do you have that you collected any evidence at all? What evidence do you have to prove that the crime scene was processed before you just allowed this lounge to be reopened? Where's the DNA evidence? You have probable cause on your side. If you have eyewitnesses that can point to DeAndre Rucker raising a weapon and firing it 3 times, that's enough probable cause. If you need supplemental evidence, get the video footage. Where's the weapon? He hasn't said anything about any DNA fingerprint test, gunshot residue test being done at all. He was identified for having shot someone. The man was not there alone. Capri Austin was not there by himself. He was there with his girlfriend. You think she would have seen this man get shot? 3 shots? And this is during an altercation. So you got to understand, people are already on high alert. But for him to actually intentionally pull out a weapon and shoot it 3 times, not just once and it was in the shoulder, because you think he's trying to break your head with a glass bottle. You're not acting in self-defense 3 times, set of ass. That's not reasonable defense. All over an altercation.
happen in most cases overnight, but we try to expedite it as much as we possibly can. The ultimate charging decision comes from the Cook County State's Attorney, not the Dolton Police Department in this case. We anticipate that the Cook County State's Attorney's Office is going to make a charging decision in the coming days, but we cannot tell you exactly when that's going to be, because ultimately, once they are satisfied with all of the evidence that they have received, then they make a charging decision.
Okay, let's pause this right now. He said two things. One, my detectives have been in consultation with the head of the felony review since the incident occurred. Two, a charging decision is coming in the coming days. So now Channel 7 went and actually called the state attorney the same night, and the Cook County State Attorney's Office issued a statement. And here's what it said.
Late tonight, we received a statement from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office saying they have not received a request from the police here to review this case for criminal charges.
So here where we are.
So he just flat out lied to their face because he's an idiot. And yet, watch how quick people get upset for me saying that the family should file a wrongful death lawsuit. You lied to their face. So in this epic FAFO moment, the family could just sue the shit out of him. Can't make this up. Sue him.
Chief told the room, told a mother whose son just got shot in the chest and died, that his detectives have been in consultation with the state attorney's head of felony review since day one. And then the state attorney said that they'd never been contacted in the first place to review this case for charges. Those two statements cannot be both true. I mean, there's three ways to read this. One, the man just lied. Straight up. He knew what he was saying wasn't true and said it anyway to a grieving family to get him off his back. Two, he was mistaken. Maybe a detective made some informal calls to the state attorneys, doesn't count as a formal referral for charges, and the chief presented that as more than what it was. Or three, there may be some issues with the language when you say in consultation with or contacted to review for criminal charges. There are technically different sentences. A detective calling the prosecutor to ask a procedural question is technically consultation. The state attorneys saying that we never received a formal request to review for charges is also technically true. Both statements can exist at the same time, structured to sound like the process is moving when it isn't. I'll let you decide which one you think it is. But
no, the actual request would come with evidence. It would come with the police report, the arrest report. It would come with proof of physical evidence. It would come with maybe requests for subpoenas on things if they need to get it, because that subpoena is signed from a judge in the court of law. And it would also come with a statement or some sort of report to go to the probable cause affidavit. So the lead detective would have to type up that probable cause affidavit where it summarizes the incident, the evidence to support it, the suspect, and what they are recommending in accordance with the law that he be charged with. They could have done that the same night because that happens. That is how the law works. You got this police chief giving y'all false information on this whole process altogether when it's just a Google search. So they want everybody to think that, we're all just as stupid as the police chief is. Seriously. This is an insult to our intelligence, Jason House, Kiana Belch, and all the rest of them. You're insulting our intelligence and the ability to read.
Here's one thing I don't need to prove any of them to say. The chief pointed at the state attorney and said the holdup is the totality of the investigation. And then the state attorney said, nobody sent us this case. So that excuse is dead. The ball is not with the prosecutor. It has been sitting with Dalton the entire time. And remember what Downs told you before this. If the police don't send it, there's no charges until they do. She called it before we even got here. That's not a delay in the system. That is the system. And the system hasn't moved. Here's what gets me. Everyone thought when Hanier lost is going to be the end of the story. Credits rolled, Dalton saved, happily ever after. Yeah, about that. Now, my opinion, again, Hanier should have left. She wasn't a great mayor. She wasn't an effective mayor. But this new administration, what's going on? I mean, they picked a chief that got a lawsuit from his own firefighters who said he wasn't even certified to hold a job. He had to take a voluntary leave. Meanwhile, firefighters are saying they're not getting adequate support. And the mayor's answer to that is, well, They had to cut the overtime, and that's why they're mad. The village is still drowning in debt, but they found almost $400,000 to buy the Pope's house. And then Tiffany Hay herself, the Superman.
That's not even making any money. I know there are plenty of videos I've done on how they can utilize that to their advantage to actually generate revenue. You had people coming in, creating this tourism to that house, and they failed to take advantage of the opportunity and to help actually turn that into something that can generate a revenue flow. It's the incompetency for me. They wouldn't be able to get over on that if the family files a wrongful death lawsuit. Because now they can point to this, well, they bought this Pope house for $400,000. How they get that money? Well, I guess they're gonna have to sell it. You're gonna have to give the family that $400,000 and some. Might want to brace yourselves to have to sell that Pope house.
The reason for all this still has not been charged with anything. The FBI has been circling for 2 years. My previous mayor, Eric Adams, got charged. Actually, there are multiple mayors been charged with federal crimes, and Haynard's still not there. So you have a former mayor under federal investigation, a fire department in court, a broke village buying tourist attractions, and then you got a man that shot dead outside the lounge the village have been literally in business with, and no one's been charged for a village of 20,000 people. Why there's always something on fire in Dolton? It seemed like it didn't stop when Haynard left. Maybe she wasn't the whole problem. Maybe she was just the loudest part of it. But let me know what you guys think about this story.
Man, this is something else. Shout out to Hannibal is Hungry. I'm just, I'm disturbed by this. I'm disturbed by this. You have people that truly supported these trustee boards and this mayor, Jason House, and wanted them to succeed and do well. And this buffoonery right here is nonsense. It's like history repeating itself. I fussed the same way when a young lady lost her life to Dolton Police Department up there. And Super Stupid decided to sit here and talk about I stand behind my police. Oh, okay. The former chief at that time, who's now actually been indicted and took a plea deal from the feds, from the FBI. Go figure. Two wrongs don't make a right. Not at all. That's all we got, you all. I just had to, man, this is madness. I had to do this because I just I don't like this whole, insulting my intelligence, and it's like they're playing in our face, and it's stupid. And to hear you smiling and smirking in front of this family, and you've got kids yourself as a mother, and your only response is focused on you not being CFO any longer. Yeah, okay. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys share this. We have Ami coming up in about 5 good minutes. So if you can tune in to the next live stream, please do so. Appreciate you all support. Hit that like button. I'm sure I'm going to get comments in the comment section. And if you don't like what I've said in this video, you can kiss my ass, because Jason House or Kiana Belcher or no one in Dolton pays my bills. So I owe them nothing. This is the beauty of being neutral and impartial. You can get in everybody's ass and still tell the truth. The end. That's all. Thank y'all so much. See y'all in the next one. And until then, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.